They Were Here Before by Corinne Samuels, Chapter 17. Nathan. I pick up the girls from their hotel early in the morning to commence the 4.5 hour journey to Graskop, which invariably will take longer because there is so much to see, so much to embrace in this space. Once again, I muse at how much their hair smell like flowers. This must be the source of their hashtag Black Girl Magic. On top of that, they're both wearing very floral rompas. A bit impractical for the journey ahead. How will they pee? And for sure, a swarm of bees will most definitely find us at every turn, as they both look like a forest, barfed all over them. Undoubtedly, this is surely going to be a very intriguing trip. It is a pleasant day, not too hot, not too humid, not too windy, just absolutely perfect. The girls say it is the best weather condition for their hair. We drive with the windows down. Although I have lived here for almost all my life and have experienced it so many times, this place and its magic never gets old. It is an age old magic, sometimes heard echoing in the wind, left behind to remind us of the strength of our ancestors. How can one ever behold and hold perfection, then get used to it? Do we ever get used to staring at the Mona Lisa? No, never. Shan and Casey marvel at the pristine natural beauty and are quite anxious to experience the panorama route. They squeal in joy at the sight of birds and the small animals flourishing in their natural habitat. And of course, they have already taken about 100 pictures between them and hoping aloud that Apple will not let them down and their batteries will last. Since their hotel is in Pretoria, we stop to tour the Union Buildings, Freedom Park, take pictures under the jacaranda trees, which are burgeoning and are the very manifestation of majestic. Then we cruise through Long Tom Pass and get a panoramic view of the various falls. The ladies have gone quiet, but their eyes and their vibrancy speak volumes. They are like two little kids in a candy store, but instead of candy, they have iPhones. Eventually, we stop for a picnic lunch. We eat in the car. We've already been attacked by bees twice and take in the lush, undisturbed vegetation. Before today, I doubt we could get Casey to sit in a car and eat. Oh, how has the mighty fallen! I am awashed with memories from my childhood and unabashed pride at the natural beauty of my homeland. Picturesque being an understatement. Everything is going well until later in the evening when we go to the Shangana Cultural Village. We get out the car to visit the many stalls buried under the most amazing crafts to be found in the country or even the world. Quite unexpectedly, both Shan and Casey experienced unmistakably visceral reactions as soon as we were in the confines of the village. It is the absolutely most astounding manifestation, for lack of a better word, I have ever been privy to in my life. Shan, this trip is unequivocally the most exhilarating experience of my life. From the trees to the small springs, the mountain range in the distance, the clear blue sky, the birds, even the nuisance bees, everything is tantalizing to the senses. All is well until we enter the Shangana Cultural Village, and my life is forever changed. I recognize vibe and energy more quickly than words, and the vibe in this space is straight out of a Hollywood horror film. I feel an improbable connection to this place. It is literally as if I have been here before. the most profound thing happened. Usually, when I have to do blood work, I can only give blood from my right arm because none of my other veins work. They're too tiny. The only vein which works is the brachial vein. That's what the nurses always say. So, this is the only vein that is always visible and easily accessible. As soon as we drive in to the compound, this very unique vein starts to pulsate vigorously. Meanwhile, the inner part of my elbow becomes blood red. I check if I had been stung by a strange bug or one of those bees, which may have caused an allergic reaction. But there's no indication that that it is either of those things. The very ectoplasm of my bloodline comes to attention. Every hair on my head is on full alert. My life has come full circle and I'm undoubtedly home. Nathan and Casey come to my aid as they could see my distress. Although I might have the look of the bewildered, but there's no discomfort, just a serene sense of nostalgia. When they gather around me, I feel invisible hands reach out and embrace me, ever so gently, and stroke my hair. Even the slight breeze feels like a whisper from the ages, marked by a recognition and familiarity, which tenderly says, Sambonani, welcome home, child. Cassia, we're having such an absolutely amazing time. The food, the company, even the occasional silence is germane to the theme of the day, harmony. Suddenly, I feel like I've been struck in the face, which is followed by a strong gust of wind as a result of the impact of the blow. I scream in agony as more blows come, each more ferocious than the next. Nathan is speaking to me. I think he's asking if I'm okay. Soon the villagers start to congregate, but their previously affable faces are drenched in bitter indignation. They start yelling at us, at me, Fuma, Fuma. I don't know what they're saying, but their words and expressions do not represent a welcome mat. Between cowering behind my hands and trying to determine what they're saying, I am awash with fear and trepidation. I try to get back in the car because these amiable people are now reaching for stones. Nathan, by far the strongest among us, is frozen in blind horror. He looks like he is in a daze. It is Shan who jumps into action. She's screaming, Get in the car! Get in the car! I think I'm screaming as well, a loud piercing sound which reverberates through my whole being. It is an ugly, primitive, guttural sound which comes from the deepest recesses of my being. I sound like a wounded animal. Even in the moment, I cannot believe that this is me. This is what I have come to. This is somehow what I have been reduced to. I think for sure I'm going to die. My shrill shrieks jerk Nathan back to the present. He immediately moves into action, pulling the car door, almost knocking me down. He grabs me, sweeps me off my feet, flings me in the back of the car, and stuffs me in like a sack of potatoes. He jumps in the passenger seat as Shan takes the wheel. Objects are thrown at the car as we drive away, but the pummeling to my body has stopped. I don't remember anything else because the world suddenly goes dark, as if someone has abruptly turned off the lights, indicating that the party is over. Before the lights go out, one thought hits me. Is this where my story ends?